Triple B Boy Podcast.
Let's go! We moving this week to numero 6. We got some real juju magumbo coming your way this week. We got motherfucking Monday night fucking football fucking up my fucking week. So I bring you my two hosts. One is a waiver wire trash loving son of a bitch, Josh Rodriguez.
Let's go.
And the other is a true hater. His name's Craig Fisher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, as you guys know, I'm just fuming. Just long day.
Yeah.
Tough fantasy week loss, dude. Had to listen to Josh talk day after day. It's over. GG, Brennan.
Every
You
single
win.
day.
Oh my gosh. Get
Every
out of
single
here.
day.
You literally
all
do
the
that,
way.
Josh. From
I
fucking
did that.
Sunday all the way to Monday. Thursday, I'm
I
sorry.
I did that fucking once. Get out of
You
here.
do it every week, bro. It's
Every-
I
over.
did it
At
once.
least 2 or 3 times.
I did it once. No, okay. Well, that's fair. I like last week against Craig. I did it like 12 times. I did it so much, but this past week I only did it once to you, Bren.
And dude,
Where
I'm
I
just
said-
telling you, it worked, dude, because I had in my mind, like, I knew, I'm like, Lamar's putting up 40 tonight. This kid,
Well,
been
okay,
whining
so yeah,
all
that's what I
week,
was.
and this is
That's
so
what I was gonna
possible.
ask you, Bren. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, give me your like mindset from like Sunday through Monday. Like,
Ugh.
because like for example, I'll go first just so you kind of get what I'm saying. So like, I like Sunday. It was so up and down Sunday alone because, well, first of all, Saturday night was crazy with the Michigan game. Like that was intense and emotional, basically.
Sure.
And then so then like Sunday starts, and you know both of us only had 2 1 o'clock games going. So like but then my two running backs who were going at 1 did really good, and then your team did really good with Evans and shit. But then I was like, sweet, I got AB on my bench going off for 26, who I sat last minute. And then I was like, of course, Miles Gaskin goes off, and then so like the 4 o'clock games start, and I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm gonna win this for sure because freaking Daniel Jones and Saquon go out and barely got you 5 points between the two of them,
Right?
And so like I'm feeling real good going into like the fourth quarter of most of these 4 o'clock games, and then the fucking fourth quarter of the Chargers Browns game happens. Like
Right.
that game pissed me off so much. There were 6 touchdowns in that quarter. You got 4 of them. Like, I was so pissed. I'm like, I lost because of that fourth quarter, And so then we go into the Sunday night game, and I'm like, all right, I have a chance here. I was like, I think Josh Allen's going to be passing all over them. I was like, hopefully Dawson Knox doesn't get 2 touchdowns because he's due for
'Cause
some
he's
negative
obese.
regression. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a great pickup by you, by the way, Dawson Knox. And so then Sanders gets that long touchdown, right? So I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, like I'm gonna have a shot to win. Like, sweet, let's go. And then the fucking last minute and 18 seconds happens of that first half of that game, where you get that 53-yard touchdown to Dawson Knox, and you get a 50-yard field goal from freaking Harrison Butker. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is ridiculous. So then like I went into Monday knowing I needed a miracle, and like I knew Jackson could get it, but I didn't think he would, And then the first half he had like 7 points, fantasy points, or 9 fantasy points or whatever in the first half of that game, and it was like both teams were running the ball and stuff, so like I was like, there's no way I'm getting this. And I told Melanie, I was like, yeah, I literally need a miracle right now. and then like they came out and scored. I was like, okay. I was like, he threw the ball. He threw a touchdown. That's good. And then he threw another one and got the 2 points. And I'm like, dude, I'm down like 9 right now. I know, like if they can get a stop and blah blah, like that how you go through all the scenarios and
Oh
crap
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sure enough, but it was true though when I went up and I was only up by like 1 point. Like I wasn't trying to be like, oh, I'm ahead now, so I'm gonna say, oh, you can still win, Brent, because I was like,
I know,
all I
I
need.
know.
I was like, Lamar already fumbled once and almost had another lost fumble. all it takes is a heave to the end zone or some interception, and I lose. You know what I
Right,
mean?
then you end up somehow losing. No, I knew you weren't trying to be a dick or whatever. But
Yeah,
I wanted to have some fun with you, so I sent that.
but
But
yeah, I
no,
was just white. I was wired up after that. Couldn't sleep for like a half hour. And
yeah, I can only imagine. Whereas, yeah, no, I was ready to go to bed so quick.
yeah, wanted to forget.
Right. Now for me, it was just kind of like Sunday felt really good, obviously, and I thought I was gonna snake out
Yeah,
losing Daniel Jones and Saquon. It's like, come on, you never win those when you have two guys go down. And
right.
Eckler just went beast mode, and I was like, okay, there's my first round draft pick.
Yeah,
Um,
there you go.
but and then Knox showed up but so did Sanders, and I was like, damn it, if Sanders just hit the bed like he was supposed to, I'd be golden.
Well,
And
right,
then,
and
like
that's
I said,
why.
I kind of had a feeling that Monday night I was screwed. So
Yeah.
but for some
No,
reason, I thought for sure Lamar would do his same old, put up 24 points. But
right, yeah, because I was expecting him to like run a couple in, but with like other people, not just Lamar.
yeah,
I definitely didn't think he was going to put up 440 and 4 touchdowns.
right,
Like,
over 400 yards passing.
Especially
yeah,
the way the first half went.
like I
Right,
definitely
and
agree
that's the
though.
other thing too. Like when I did look at the ESPN app, the one time, I think it was like third quarter, and
Yeah,
he had like 10 points. I was like, oh, okay, I'm probably good.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
no,
like I said, I definitely got away with one because if one of those, whether Daniel Jones or Saquon, don't get injured in that game, I most likely lose this week. So,
sure.
like, even though it was a sweet comeback, it's not like I beat your full team. You had two
Yeah,
people
no,
go out.
there's a lot of ways to look at it because, like you said too, you had Miles Gaskin and Antonio Brown on your bench. If you start both those guys,
Dude,
it's
how intense would that be? Like, if your two players didn't get injured, and then I had like those two players in,
oh,
like,
dude,
we
yeah.
we would have had like a 170, 160 game or
I was
something
gonna
like
say, yeah,
that.
we probably would put up the numbers for sure, dude.
Yeah. So, but yeah, our week was definitely emotional filled with that.
Hmm.
And then you had freaking Shane and Mac in their matchup. That was crazy.
That's just nutty,
Yeah, I feel bad for Mac, man. It's a tough way to lose.
right?
Craig didn't have to deal with that. He had a ass cupcake.
Big old cupcake
Delicious.
win,
Yeah,
dude.
very delicious. Yeah, normally when people are scoring, normally when you're scoring over 130, 120, 130, you usually feel pretty confident you're going to win. So,
Sure.
Unless you're Justin.
Who'd you cupcake up, dude?
Nate
You had
Nate
Nate.
frosted himself up for me this weekend. So,
Not a surprise. Not a surprise
yeah,
there, dude.
It's
yeah.
because I took McKissick from Nate. That's why.
Yeah.
Probably.
He was so
Nate,
upset.
we were up north. And I was already thinking of picking up McKissick, and then Nate was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking of picking up McKissick." I was like, "Ah, well, I better do that then." So I picked him up.
Oh, just you
for
never
Nate.
talk fantasy with Josh
Never
when
talk
you're vulnerable and
waiver
drunk.
pickups. Yeah.
Josh will snake him in a heartbeat.
So then I tried to trade him McKissick for Allen
Wow.
Robinson.
Wow, you're dirty. You're fucking
Yeah.
dirty, dude.
So I'll put myself on blast for that one because yeah, that's a snake move. But
Yeah, let me give you let me give you my waiver pick for Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Boy.
Hey, I just put myself on blast for it. It
It's all
doesn't
right.
hurt to try,
It doesn't. I do those trades all the time too. It's okay. Just
So,
when you
but
hear them
speaking of
out loud,
trades,
it sounds terrible.
yeah, speaking of trades, though, that's a great segue. So we had a couple go down this week so far. With we'll do with the first one that Shane clearly wants us to talk about, and with him and Dan on the Damian Harris for Mike Gesicki trade.
Yeah, I
I
feel
mean,
like
what you boys got to say about it?
I'm pretty sure I tried to find a timestamp. Man, it might have just been my phone. Because I was watching the play-by-play on my phone, and I saw Damian Harris gets injured for his first injury, and
Yeah,
literally within a minute, like I saw the trade go through, which is why I said, "Oh, quick hands, Dan." Like trading real quick. I could be mistaken, but either
yeah,
way,
I don't
I don't know how.
remember.
I
Yeah,
don't know how. I think the trade personally is relatively even. I don't think I think Dan's going to need a tight end for a couple weeks. Miami's offense, looking a little more promising as far as fantasy wise,
yeah,
scoring points. So he'll be able to plug in Gesicki. Even though I think there might be there's still a couple options on the waiver wire this week. But and same with Damian Harris. He's going to have his week. He'll be able to play him, and hopefully he'll be able to get you, in a good matchup. He'll maybe be able to get you, 15 plus points or so. So
right.
I don't think he's a every week plug-in, but neither is Gesicki. So I think it was relatively.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
no,
It
and
was a pretty good trade.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely. I get both sides of it. It was definitely not lopsided to either way, for sure. The only thing that like kind of surprised me, I was surprised that it was Gesicki that Dan went for. Just because, like, if you look at Gesicki's splits from when Tua is the quarterback and Brissett's the quarterback, like all his production has come with Brissett as the quarterback. He gets
Hmm.
like 0 targets when Tua's the quarterback, and Tua's
Yeah.
coming back next week. So that's why I was kind of surprised that he traded for Gesicki. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's
Well, to
like
be
you
fair,
said with.
too, let's go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like you said with Damian Harris, though, it's not like he's given up a everyday starter that you're gonna start every week for him. Like
And
I
to be
totally, I
honest,
totally get it.
with his ribs getting hit up, I don't know. I heard someone. I didn't even look into his status. I think someone said he might be back already, but I would
Yeah,
assume
no,
like a
he's
week
like
or two.
okay.
Is he? I
He's
think he's
okay,
still
but
missed
he's
a couple
also
weeks.
had like he's also fumbled, I think, like every week. So
Right.
we know how Bill Belichick kind of frowns upon that shit. So at some point that's gonna get old and he's
Right.
gonna get benched. So that's another reason I was like, it's just let's even swap for me. It's depth pieces for both.
It's kind of like a flyer for a flyer, which is similar to like yours
Yeah,
Yep.
trade.
That's how I looked at it.
Yeah. Which is same
and then
with
yeah,
Justin.
there was mine. Yeah, same with mine and Justin. I mean, I just at this point, if I'm not gonna have another stud outside of Calvin Ridley, which he hasn't been a stud, but he's been consistent for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've needed that consistency at my other wide receiver position, so it's like I might as well one of those just have a bunch of them until someone comes through,
Right.
And it looks like I may have found one in Sanders, but I still need one more for a flex option. So I was like, I might as well take a chance with that, and with the way that
Took
you
Pittman,
know,
right?
yeah. So I mean, he's getting steady targets.
No, 100%.
This week was
I drafted him for that same reason. He had good upside potential, and it's good to see. I even think if T.Y. Hilton comes back,
that's only going to help him, I think.
exactly, it's only going to help him in the long run. So,
Yeah, so I
yeah,
mean, touchdowns.
not a bad
That's
trade.
just because of that offense, though. Like, it's not a high scoring offense, So
Right.
the touchdowns are what kind of limit him, I think. But if he's going to be a consistent 10 points every week,
Yeah,
that
if
might not be a bad option.
they have a mediocre enough defense, and probably are going to be more. You're probably going to be more in a positive game script for Pittman having to come back from a loss. So it's
Right, exactly.
probably better, pretty good. It is kind of unfortunate that their their main running back catches passes. Jonathan Taylor is what I want to say. What's his name?
Yeah,
Is that his name?
Mhm.
Thinking of
yeah.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas from Tim Allen's Home Improvement. Like that's not who
I
I
mean,
want.
you could call him that if
Same
that's
thing,
easier for you.
right? But yeah, no, I mean that is unfortunate that he gets some dump off. But as far as being a wide receiver, yeah, I think that was a pretty good trade, especially with Gaskin was looking. It's the same thing. Miami's fantasy potential is looking a little brighter. So
Yeah, I mean, and once again, I mean, I don't think he's gonna have too many games like the one he just had. But I
he just
mean,
ran on one of the best run defenses in the league, right? So
well, he didn't run on him. He caught 10 passes for 74 yards and caught 2 touchdowns. So he didn't.
no
It's not like he
rushing,
did it as like a running back. But I mean, that's still obviously you'll take it.
100%. Yeah,
Like,
100%.
well, yeah, you just don't know because like like week 4 that he had 3 touches total. So it's just you don't. For me, I was just willing to take the upside with Pittman than have to deal with that at my RB.
I think it would be easier,
So
yeah, in your situation.
yeah. So you got anything, Bren?
No, you guys covered it. Flyer for flyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, like I said, I got some bigger trades that might be in the works that I'm considering, but nothing is set yet.
That means Bren
We'll
and
see.
Josh are making trades. Everybody expected.
No, apparently Brennan's
Yeah.
trying to trade Justin.
I was gonna say I was trying to blockbuster Justin, dude.
You obviously
Who
threw
were you
Saquon
trying?
in there. You
I was about to
obviously
say,
did.
yeah, with what Justin said, you obviously threw Saquon quite correct.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Brent, who you taking in waivers?
Yeah.
Nice try, Josh.
I'm picking up Atlanta's defense, Josh. Go for
Nice. Okay.
Same, dude.
it.
Same.
Same.
Thanks, guys. So now, put him on blast.
Put him on blast, dude. You fucking want to put me on blast, so do it, pussy.
Yeah, I'm putting Brennan on blast. Blah 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 blah
Blah, 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 blah,
Wow, 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 wow.
blah. Because this motherfucker's a snake. All right, and the reason I say this is so it's me, him, and Nate going up north. 3-hour drive, right? And what's the first thing this guy says when we get in the car? He says, "Guess what we're listening to, boys? The podcast." No, knowing damn well I was shitting on Nate's team the entire podcast. So he was trying to get me beat up in the car.
Fire Nate up real quick.
So I had to sit there and defend myself to Nate on why I think he's finishing last.
It's fair.
I had totally forgot about it. It worked out perfectly.
It did. Yeah, Nate was a good sport about it. I mean, I'm sure he probably wanted to throw me out of the car at one point, but it was all in good fun. I was like, oh man, really, Bren? This is what we're doing. Not only that, it was at the very beginning of the car ride. So if Nate was really pissed, it would have been a long car ride.
Right?
For sure. So that's why I'm putting you on blast, Bren. Thanks for being a
I
little
feel ya.
snake.
That's a good blast. I deserve it.
Yeah.
It was a
It
hot
was
one.
it was fun though. Like I said, Nate was a good sport.
Oh, for sure.
So all right, do we want to get into these our next segment?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it started. So since I came up with it, I'll explain it. And I'm not gonna lie, I got this segment kind of off of other podcasts that I listen to and stuff like that. But I'm gonna call it reality or illusion. And so basically, I took one player from each team, and it's a person that's either doing good or bad. And we're just gonna see if you think it's a reality, like they're either gonna keep doing good or keep doing bad, or if it's an illusion where if they're doing bad, you think they're going to turn things around, or vice versa. If they're doing good, they're coming down to earth, type of thing. So, I guess we'll start. Well, I'll just go down the order that I sent you guys. So number one is on Brent's team. It's Kareem Hunt. Obviously he's balling out, especially the last 2-3 weeks. Brent, he's been
Mm-hmm.
just killing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you go first, Brent. do you think he's going to keep it up? Is it reality or is it an illusion?
Oh, fuck yeah, he's going to keep it up, dude. We've talked about it all year long, dude.
Right.
Them running backs.
Well, he has to. Yeah, he has to if he's going to be top 15. Yeah.
Right? He has to if he's going to be top 15. That's number one for plant my
Yo.
flag. Number two, like this week he happened to get into the end zone twice on rushing, which was, surprising. But it just goes to show that they use both their running backs, and either one could get those opportunities and end up in the end zone. So
Right.
I think he continues. He's reality, not an illusion.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I'll go next, Craig. So I think, see, it's a little tough because I think it's going to be mixed, honestly, because he's been getting all the touchdowns and Nick Chubb hasn't. You know what I mean? So, like, that's going to even out. And so, am I saying that Kareem Hunt's going to, be nothing? No, but is he going to be balling like he is now? I think that's also a no. So I think it's an illusion, but I'm not saying that as in like I just said, where I think Hunt is going to become nothing. You know what I mean? He's still going to be good. He's still going to be. You could still put him as your RB2 if you need to,
So you
and
don't
stuff
think he
like that.
can maintain putting up 20 points?
Not every week, not 3-4 weeks in a row. Because like I said, eventually some of the, especially rushing touchdowns, Nick Chubb's gonna be getting those. Maybe not all of them going forward, but still, he right now Kareem Hunt's getting all of them. So once they start sharing with Nick Chubb though, and he's getting 1 or 0
And he
touchdowns
gets
instead of
one
2
of
every
them.
week.
I'll allow him to have one.
Right, that's what I said though.
Give
He's
him
not
half,
gonna.
Ben.
Then
Give him half.
Kareem gets the other
He
3.
doesn't need a whole one and half.
That's what I said though. He's not gonna become a bum. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
I
I
just
know
don't.
that's not what you're saying.
So
I
he's
just don't
going to
think because what
remain in that
is he?
10, 15 point range. He's never going to be. You don't think
Yeah,
he's going
like
to be
I think he'll
15,
be like a
25?
10 his I think he'll be his kind of normal like 10,
Yeah,
12 points,
for
15
sure.
points. I don't think he's going to be putting up 20, 25 points every week.
Okay.
So, like I said, so I think it's an illusion, but it's not like I'm saying he sucks or none. I just don't think he's going to keep up the pace that he's at, if that makes sense.
For sure.
So, okay, Craig, because hold on real quick. So he's RB5. Like, I don't think he's going to keep up RB5 production all year, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's kind
Well,
of
go
funny.
ahead and ask me how I feel about your next selection, okay?
Well, hold on. Craig has to go. Craig has to go.
I don't know. I don't want to hear that. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny how you can take stats and interpret them 2 different ways, unless it's like
Right.
like one end of the spectrum or the other. But yeah, so I think he's a real. I think it's the reality. I think he's going to continue to be doing what he's doing. He's only getting roughly 44% of the snap shares right now. He's ranked 10th in yards, yards a carry at 5.4, which is really good. That's like,
Yeah, I was about to say
level for
that's
top
really
running
good.
backs.
Yeah.
So he's getting less of the snaps, but producing more. And yeah, he has gotten TDs and Chubb hasn't, but they're all rushing. And Kareem Hunt is one of the main pass backs. So I think he's still capable of doing even more if he starts getting receiving
Oh,
touchdowns.
so he's a dual threat. Okay, cool. Got it.
right. And I think, his lowest target share was like in week 2 at Houston. So his stats would be a lot higher if, that Houston game. I mean, with everybody, there's usually 1 or 2 games that are real low, but his schedule coming up, especially in the playoffs, is very favorable for running backs. He's got a lot. They got a lot of opponents they can blow out. Baker Mayfield's kind of a bum who can't throw the ball, so their whole, everyone knows their whole niche is running the ball. So even if he's getting 50% of this, if he's taking half the snaps, he's outproducing Chubb. I think Chubb's the man and can run harder than Kareem Hunt, but I think Kareem Hunt
Right.
has the talent and he's more suave. But
Yeah.
I think he's a reality. I don't see him slowing down. I see him only getting better, especially
Yes.
like you look at his matchups in the playoffs. He's got a lot of easy pickings for his his game script. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
And like I said, I don't take what I'm saying and No, no, I'm not saying you guys are, but I'm just saying don't take what I'm saying and skewing it. Like I said, I just don't think he'll keep top 5 production the entire year.
I would
I
probably
think
rate
he'll
him
be,
top 10.
yeah, I think,
I think
yeah,
he could
I'd
easily
say he
be
would has top 10. I think top 15 at
him
worst
and Chubb
production.
could easily be
But
top 10, top 15. Yeah, the way
right,
that
and I mean, I could be wrong on that because like you brought up some great stats, Craig, and that's true. Like, yeah, he's their main passing back too, but they haven't been passing, but they don't need him to because both
he's
him and Chubb are just
averaging.
running down the throat of other teams. You know
Yep,
what I mean? So
and
like,
he's still
it could
averaging
be
4 targets on the receiving end too. So like
right, and it's not like
that's really good for a
not
running
a
back.
it's not like that's a low scoring offense either. Like that's a pretty for how much they run, that's
Uh
a
huh.
pretty high powered offense.
That area, but I
So
bet you if you look at his last 5 weeks of the playoffs, I bet you he's top 5, top 10 that last 5 weeks.
yeah, no, that's true. And I
Like
mean,
he's a very favorable. So if Brent can make it to the playoffs, he's going to be looking. Don't sell him for cheap, Brent. That's all I'm saying. Unless it's to me,
yeah,
in
and I
which case
mean,
I'll out your boy.
and I guess I didn't like when I look. Excuse me, when I look at it, I don't look at the playoffs. I do this for like over the regular season because like so I don't if that makes so like when I say I think he's gonna be top 10, top 15, I'm saying in the end in the regular season he's gonna be that. I don't
For sure.
try to
I see what you
project
mean.
the playoffs. You know what I mean? And I mean if you do that, that's fine. I just in my thinking
Yeah,
that's how
for a
it
lot of
is.
these guys, I look just at how they're gonna, end at the end of the year, including whatever their playoff schedule is, depending on what it is. So
Yeah,
just to kind
yeah.
of because I think it ties in. I thought it tied into like whether they're gonna be what is it, reality or illusion? They're not
Yeah.
magic tricks; it's illusions, Michael. But yeah, no, I can understand. But yeah, I would think overall regular season 2, I think I mean definitely top 10, top 15 back. I just think he's too much of the dual threat and the way they utilize him. I think he's only going to get better the way he's
Which
trending.
is fair. Yeah,
Because any of these
totally
players could
fair.
trend. Yeah, any of these players could definitely trend down or up.
Yeah, I mean any of them can prove any
Yeah,
of
four
us wrong.
targets. He's
So
averaging like 30 yards a game on 4 targets just receiving. So like you added any rushing, bro, it's
yeah,
crazy.
no, that's fair. And I mean in that offense, that's probably like 50% of the target
It's
shares, 4 targets.
only because it's the
So
Browns. It's only because it's the Browns. Anywhere else.
right.
Fun fact: you know who has you know which running back has the highest yards per carry? You want to take a guess?
It's not Najee Harris, that's for sure.
Fuck no, it's not. Fuck,
Who, Craig?
Tony Pollard, unreal.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So, all right, let's move on to number 2, who Bren really wants to get to. He was the hot topic last week of the most useless debate ever. Um, Emmanuel Sanders on my team. Um, so I'll go first. I think he is obviously going
Hot
to.
trash.
He's
Hot
hot
fucking
trash,
trash.
but he's gonna stay hot trash, baby. He's reality for sure.
Mm,
Um,
tell me
obviously,
why.
well because I was just getting there, Brian. If you quit interrupting me, jeez.
Tell me now.
He's well. I mean, to me, like he's and I didn't go deep into stats, like Craig did. Sorry, Shane.
I
But
got
he's
you, Shane.
clearly at very worst the number 2 in this offense, and they're putting up 35, 38 points a week. And if you just watch the games and even by his stats, like he's clearly the preferred red zone target right now. Um, and he's tying, if not ahead of Stefan Diggs in both targets and um, receptions. So he's clearly their deep ball threat right now. His average depth of target is like 5 yards more than Stefan Diggs and stuff. So I mean, at that point, you just gotta. I think he's gonna be able to continue this unless the Bills somehow just start shitting the bed like the Raiders did on offense. As long as they keep doing what they're doing, then that's a very pass heavy offense too. It's the almost complete opposite of the Cleveland Browns, where they run 90% of the time, or pass 90% of the time instead of run. So you put all those factors in, and I think he's gonna keep up this type of production.
So you don't
Go ahead,
consider
Bren.
it like Tampa Bay based situation where
No,
the
because with
ball gets
Tampa,
spread around, like in
no, because with
Arizona.
well, like so, for example, last week against or this past week against the Chiefs, Cole Beasley played his lowest percent snap share of the year. Um, and it's not like it's because they were running the ball the entire second half or anything like that. Like they were still slinging it up and down the field in the second half, and Cole Beasley was completely taken out of the equation. And he's like the only one that would even challenge Sanders for that wide receiver 2 spot. So, um, and I mean, like honestly, just Diggs isn't the target monster right now that he was last year, and I think that's because of Sanders and Dawson Knox too. He's he's emerging. That's only going to help those guys. And like I said, the volume is so high in that offense that when those are his 2 first looks are Diggs and then Sanders most of the time, he's going to be able to take it. He's going to be able to take advantage of that. Because
He's a
with
giant illusion, dude.
yeah, right. Tell me why, Ben. Tell me
He's
why.
got you clouded. I'll tell you why. I don't like him.
Is it
That's why. Okay?
Yes, that's all you need, Brennan. Hold to your guns. That's all you need.
Damn it, he got me. Damn it.
Shane wants facts. Fuck Shane. I ain't giving you facts.
We have very short schedules, boys. It's hard to fit this in.
I mean, that's a valid argument, Brent.
I mean,
But
Thank you.
I can. Do you want me to go real quick?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go
if
real
Brent's
quick.
done, yeah.
Oh yeah, are you done, Bren? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of talk quick, just to kind of I want to get through this guy because I have a lot to say. Because obviously last week I called him hot trash on your team, which I think most people should want me to root against the receivers because when I do, they go off. DJ Moore, Emmanuel Sanders, they probably listen to this podcast, and they really want me to feel bad. But either way, it's really relative to what I consider waiver wire trash. I know I think we're on the same. We're gonna be on the same page because Emmanuel Sanders basically reminds me of like a Deshaun Jackson, Sammy Watkins type of player. He has, they have that big playmaking potential. They're getting the big play, the long passes. They're getting the looks, but most weeks they will probably fall short. It's hard to say with Emmanuel Sanders if it's an illusion or a reality. I would say what he has done so far is honestly probably reality, but I still think he's gonna end most likely outside the top 20. So I guess, yeah, I mean, he's actually averaging the lowest targets on the team per the receivers. Barely, he's basically tied with Beasley. Diggs is still getting like on average 9.4 targets a game. Sanders is getting around 6. Same with Beasley. So it really depends. If they're looking for those long shots, Sanders is getting it. That's why he probably is a really good flex play. You want to play him at your flex because he has that, he has the chance to do what he just did for you. Especially, I think it's mainly illusion the amount of points he got last time. I think Buffalo versus Kansas City was just going to be quarterbacks measuring their dicks. So like he was bound to see some love, but he's already scored 4 touchdowns this year, which is a lot. I looked at his record in the past, he usually scores between 2 and 5 touchdowns. Now, granted, these were all on other offenses. I think 9 touchdowns is the most he scored in 2014 with Denver, but it seems like he's at 4 touchdowns already. I don't think he's going to keep the pace up. If he does, he's going to have a record year. I don't think this is a year we see Emmanuel Sanders having a record year, but obviously with Josh Allen, anything is possible. So, and the way, like you said, the way they move the ball around, he's the number 2. He's a great flyer to have at your flex for that, what he did last week. I don't think he's a comfortable lock-in every week, but with what he's been doing, obviously you have to lock him in. So he's also got really favorable, they got a lot of easier defenses and semi-shitty offenses going into the playoffs. So depending on how you look at it, it could either result in really negative game script for him as far as them getting up and not passing the ball as much, which would be poor. Or obviously it depends what you think. If you verse good defenses and you think your receivers go off, I personally think it goes I would rather play like the Buffalo versus Kansas City, where you have to score and your players have to get production to produce. So,
Well, my one like rebuttal to that would be, and there's a perfect example of it, would be the Houston game when
Mhm.
they faced Houston and they routed them 40-0.
Right.
And hold on one second, I'll pull that up. And he
For sure.
still had. Oh yeah, I took all my players out of my lineup, so it'd be easier to pick
I
myself
mean, if you
against
look at
Shane.
if you look at his targets per game too, you could look at it two different ways. So he had 8 targets week 1, then 6, 6, 6, and then
6, 6,
5.
and 5,
Yeah,
right?
so you could look at that as either, hey, he's pretty consistently getting 5 or more targets, and I feel comfortable with that, or you could look at that as like, hey, he's getting less and less targets every week.
Yeah.
So especially with this tight
So
end
my
emerging, I mean, it
Well, and that's what I was going to say. My argument to that would be, so A, the Houston thing, he had 5 for 6 for 70 yards, and that's a
Mhm.
game where they won 40-0.
Yeah.
And your argument about Kansas City was, if you look at that game in general, the
Mhm.
receptions and the targets were tied for the team lead. So like that
Mhm.
was one game where Josh Allen did like actually spread it around a lot. You
For
know what I
sure.
mean?
Oh, definitely.
And so, like, yeah, 5 targets. I see. Obviously, that's less than 6, but it's not like he had 5, but then Diggs had 10 and Beasley had 10. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but he made something out of
So,
those 5 targets. That's the way you have to look at it. Is
well,
his
right,
first
but
catch
that,
was like
yeah,
30 yards and a
and that's
touchdown, and
fair.
that's great, and that's
Yeah,
what you want. But like, I mean, if you're only that's what he is. So he's only going to be if he's averaging 6 targets a game, he has to make those plays, or else you're going to be looking at lowest points. I mean, right now he's averaging 64 yards a game. Like you have to play him at your flex because that's great. 64 yards a game for receivers, that's
right,
great upside. So I mean, I
right. So
think
I guess when I
what he has
say,
done is reality. I just think he's gonna I think most weeks he's gonna fall short of that 10-point line, and it's gonna be hard. He's just not gonna be a lock in. He's hard to lock in. I think I said that you should lock him in, but um, if you lock him
are
in,
you
it's
sure you
because
don't want to make it 11-point line so that it's one game less to your point? That's what Dan did when he was arguing.
no, I get he's a great receiver to have as a flyer. I think he's that's what I'm saying. So I don't want to go too long on it, but yeah, I
Yeah,
get why you play him. I can't. I don't. He is what he is. I think what he's doing is a reality.
right.
So I think he's going to have
Yeah, and so, and
7-point
yeah,
games, and I
that's
think
what I'm buying.
he's going to have 18-point games. So
I'm
I think
buying like that
it's a
this right
negative
here. Like,
reality, if anything. He's just a negative reality.
like he's wide receiver 16 right now. Like I'm buying this range, like that 15 to 20 range, probably is what I'm saying is reality.
I would say
I'm
best
not.
case
I don't.
scenario for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he could possibly do it. I mean, even if he only, I get what you're saying about touchdowns. That's true. He's not going to catch 2 touchdowns every week, obviously,
No,
and
he's
stuff.
on pace.
So
He's already got 4. I mean, he on average in a full season, I think he averages between 2 and 6 at the most. And that's a
yeah,
lot lower.
and like you
But those
said
are all
though, that
different
those were
offenses.
different offenses that weren't as high
Correct.
powered as this offense for the most
Correct.
part.
But
So
he has less targets than Beasley currently on average. I mean, like
yeah, and
Diggs is
two,
the
like you
clear
guys,
number 1 at nine targets a game. Beasley
he
and
was
Sanders.
injured in the preseason, so he didn't have that time to gel, and then that you could see that in the first 2 weeks,
For
And
sure.
so, like I said, I'm not saying he's going to turn
I
into a
say, yeah, no, full
10
healthy all
catch.
year.
Yeah,
No, but yeah.
like I said, I think I'm buying the 15 to 20 range. I'm not saying he's going to be top 10, top 5, anything like that. But it's kind of that if I have
I bet you
stability
some weeks
everywhere else, he's a great boomer bust guy for
that's what
sure.
I'm saying. Who cares about his overall ranking? Because I guarantee you there's gonna be weeks he's top 10 in scoring, Like
Yeah,
that's why you play him.
right. So, all right, yeah, that's enough on him. Let's go to number 3, who's Justin's guy of AJ Brown. Obviously, he hasn't done shit this year. So we'll go with Craig first. Craig, do you think he's gonna? Is it a reality that he's this bad this year, or is it an illusion and he's gonna kind of get back to that normal
So
AJ
okay.
Brown?
This is it's a reality that I'm gonna say it's a reality that he's this bad. I would say more or less it's an illusion to be so I don't want to say he's bad. I guess what I'm
Right. You're
saying
not
is
saying that him as a player is bad, but just his fantasy
he's not going to
production.
do so obviously Justin's chasing, like I know Brennan said it last week, he's chasing that ceiling that he had last year. He had
Mm-hmm.
11 touchdowns, almost 1100 yards, So obviously, and Tannehill played great. So the hype around it made sense. But if you look back, he scored at least 1 to 2 touchdowns every week. He's already gone 4 games this year without a touchdown. So I don't think he's going to make up 11 touchdowns. I think realistically, depending on if he stays, I'm just going to say everyone stays healthy. He probably has a more humble year, kind of falls out of the top 15. Funny enough, I looked up the Titans. If you think of the Titans, you think they always run more than they pass. It's actually like a very clean, almost 50-50 split. But they have favorable. Like I said, I looked at the playoffs. I like AJ Brown in the playoffs. That was a plus side for AJ Brown. But he's only averaging like 32 yards. 32.5 yards per game currently. He's at 6.25 targets per game. With the other 2 receivers, he's Julio's at 6 and Chester Rogers at 4. So he's averaging the same amount of targets as Julio. If they all can stay healthy and Tannehill starts passing the ball more, I can see him having a better year. But he's already not going to eclipse what he did last year. He's already going to have a worse year because I don't see him scoring 1 to 2 touchdowns and every other week starting this week, and then that to be like a week with like 3. It's possible because it's AJ Brown. He's got the talent, but
Right.
it's an illusion currently with the way Tennessee kind of sucks too. So
yeah, all right, fair enough. Bren, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, this one has to do with Tennessee, and I think they're a bust. Like, I think Tannehill's gonna be a bum this year, and
that's so sad.
it's so sad because I
It
have
makes me
2
sad
Titans.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
you're saying it's a reality that he's gonna
right, I say
not.
it's a reality that he continues to be negative.
Mediocre.
Yeah.
And
Not where
that's
you
what you
drafted
said
him.
too, Craig, right? You were
Yeah,
saying it was a
he's not.
reality.
He's not worth where you drafted him currently, and I don't think
Yeah.
he'll want maybe in the playoffs, but
Do you have anything else, Bren, on that?
No, what were you thinking?
Okay, no, I'm with you guys actually. That it's a reality that I think obviously I don't think he'll be as awful as he's been, but I definitely don't think he's gonna get to no, AJ Brown of last year, like to say what Craig was saying.
Yeah.
They just seem to anytime, even when they had Julio in. That game against the freaking Seahawks was the perfect example of Tannehill throwing for 350 yards and Derrick Henry having like 3 touchdowns.
it's feasting,
Like,
dude. It's feasting.
right. So we're like, if they're in the, inside the 5, they're running Henry 4 times pretty much every time. And
Yep.
so that last year, AJ had a lot of those short area targets that turned into touchdowns, inside the 10 and stuff like that. And then now, not only are they giving Henry the ball, it seems like every time in there, but then when AJ's healthy and Julio's healthy, you now have competition with Julio as well. So I think he'll improve, but like Craig said, nowhere near what you expected when you drafted him. So I think it's a reality that AJ Brown's a bust pretty much this year.
I'll take him
compared
off
to
your hands, Justin. Send him to me. I'll give you something good. I'll give you
right,
a
yeah.
teaching
Go
ass.
ahead, get him. All right, let's move to the next person, Jamar Chase. I'll go first on this one. I think this is a reality. I was a huge fan of his coming out of college. The dude was a stud, and he's just proven the same thing in the NFL. He's not going to get a 70-yard touchdown every week, I don't think. but but I think when the TD production comes down, the other stuff will increase, the receptions, the yards. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
so I just think, and I think they're going to throw the ball a little more with Burrow. They're kind of just being a little easy right now on him with coming off that knee surgery and stuff. So I think this is a total reality that he's just going to keep being
Same.
a stud.
I'm with you, dude. I wasn't a huge fan necessarily of Chase coming out of college because I didn't really know him that well, and he took the year off during COVID.
Yeah.
But I was a huge fan of Burrow, and he's proven to be a man.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
think that's going
Yeah.
to continue. So Chase will definitely continue.
Nah, what about you, Craig?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't even know who he was. I still really until like week 3 didn't know who he was. So when you put the name in there, I looked at his stats. I didn't realize how good he was doing. It looks like, yeah, Joe Burrow's the fucking man, dude. All 3 of the receivers averaged 7 targets, except Jamar's averaging like 91 yards a game and a touchdown per game. So he might not
Yeah.
get a touchdown, but any receiver averaging 90 yards is gonna
Right. I mean, because
stay
you
in that
gotta
wide
think, even
range.
if he gets you 4 catches for 91 yards, like you
Yeah,
say,
fuck yeah.
that's
That's great.
11 points.
Hell yeah.
Now,
You know,
Burrow did
so
take a punch to the throat or something, so
yeah, he's
Yeah,
fine. He
throat
got released.
confusion. I did read. I looked into that too, and a lot of what Jamar's value stays attached to Joe Burrow staying healthy. So, and T
Yeah,
Higgins
for
is
sure.
returning, so that I don't think that's the way. Like I said, the way they spread it out, they're all gonna get the love. He's averaging. You're obviously looking for him in the red zone, and very competitive end of year schedule. But having such a mediocre defense is going to allow them to get scored on and be forced to pass the ball to
sure.
keep up in scoring. So, yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
Yeah,
he's
and
agree.
I think he's the truth.
like I said too, I think
The
they're not
truth.
gonna. I don't think they're gonna keep running Joe Mixon 28 times a game. I mean,
I don't know. History says
they can,
otherwise.
but he's already injured right now. Well, I know he's
Yeah,
probably coming back or whatever, but still, like, I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to keep running him, but I just don't see. I don't know. With his history, with how much money you have invested in him in the next like 5 years, like,
right.
I don't know if you can. He's not Derrick Henry, So I just think the passing volume is going to go up. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're going to go to like 10 rush attempts for Mixon every week, but I just
Sure.
think they're going to pass it a little more. And then, like you said, Craig, when kind of they're not going to be in favorable or
And
even
they
game
got a
script.
mediocre defense, so they should be game script
Yeah,
dependent a lot, which is
exactly.
great. So good
So,
fantasy,
but
not
yeah,
great NFL, but good.
right. Yeah. So, yeah, that's 2 people in a row that were clean sweep on either way. So, all
There you go.
right, the next one, Allen Robinson. Um, uh, I mean, I think it's hard because of the switch over to Justin
Justin Fields.
Fields.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we don't know how much of are they holding him back right now, and are they gonna keep holding him back, or are they gonna let him sling the ball and do his thing? But like right now, I think it's a reality that once again he's a bust. Just like I said, that especially if they're in game scripts, like kind of like with this uh Las Vegas game where they're ahead
Mm-hmm.
and their defense is still really good.
Oh yeah.
So like if they're in a game where they're either ahead or it's like basically tied, they're probably going to try to keep Justin Fields safe and healthy and stuff and try to protect him by running the ball or doing screen passes and stuff like that. To where I don't know if Allen Robinson, kind of like with AJ Brown, I think he'll improve, but I don't think once again that he'll be anything close to what you drafted him for. So I see him in the same light that I see AJ Brown right now.
Yeah,
Greg, what
yeah,
are your
I
thoughts?
agree. The same thing with like you said, they have a really good defense, so more likely than not, game script might fall out. Granted, their offense is a little weak, so no matter what, they may have to be forced to throw to score. But having a really good defense and keeping games closer isn't going to force an experienced quarterback to get the ball into your receiver's arms. So, kind of yeah, I think Allen Robinson's best option would be if Foles took over at quarterback. I think Andy Dalton has proven not to
Yeah,
utilize him, which is bullshit.
no,
Justin,
and that's very true.
yeah,
Yeah,
from what Justin Fields has done, it's been very underwhelming. Granted, it's just a very small sample, but I think Foles
Yeah.
is Allen Robinson's best option, and like currently, the targets for the Bears in general are very low. Mooney actually has more, average targets than Robinson. So
well,
good
I was
pickup.
just gonna. I was sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there,
No,
Craig, but
you're
I was
fine.
gonna
That was
say that too. Like, even like in the most favorable game script that they've had so far, or matchup that they've had against the Lions, which was against the Lions, Mooney had the game, not Allen Robinson.
Yeah,
Like, and it's not even like, okay, Mooney had 5 for 125, but Robinson had like 8 for 70. It wasn't even anything like that. It was like all the
right.
deep targets were to Mooney, and like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
just
I mean, outside of having Montgomery being such a fucking baller this year, it's looking like the Chicago offense is like the Giants offense of
one
last
to
year.
avoid, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not something you really want to hop on. And granted, like I
Yeah.
said, it might feel good to throw Mooney in. He's gonna have his games, I'm sure, but it's a very they need full put Foles in there at this point, like, or just I guess it's cool to have Justin Fields. Let him just go out there and play every down. So until he gets better,
Yeah.
whatever.
What you got on it, Bren?
No, that you guys are set it off. I agree.
Then I know it's been so disappointing because I've been high on Mooney. Like, obviously, I keep like dropping him and then picking him up, and like I drafted him in the late rounds. I'm just waiting for it, and I thought, especially after that Lions game, I was like, man, like Fields is gonna love Mooney. And well, like you guys, like we said, it's just that offense in general just doesn't look that explosive. Let's say, especially without David Montgomery. So all right, let's move on to the next person, which is Craig's guy, Najee Harris.
Najee.
Yeah, I will say, well, I'll let Bren go first. Bren, you go first, and then Craig.
Yeah, this one for me is kind of like it's more based on the offense as a whole, and the
Mm-hmm.
Steelers' offense as a whole has looked better these last 2 weeks.
Yep.
So just with that kind of a feel, I'm leaning towards this being reality. Like you're gonna continue to see he's a workhorse, so
Yep.
he's got
Right.
sheer volume. So to me, it's reality. As long as their offense keeps producing, you'll definitely see his numbers solid, and I lean that way that they will. So
Yeah. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's yeah. So basically, you can't argue with a running back that gets volume, even if it's on a shitty offense. What's nice is the first couple of games with Pittsburgh they were really struggling, but like Bren said, they're starting to pull it together, look a lot better. Even with, I think Juju going out, I know like in the NFL probably doesn't help your offense, but I think it helps Najee Harris's production. If at all, it doesn't affect it at all. I just don't think it's a negative. But yeah, with him taking 87% of the snaps, his yards per carry are super low, but that's because he's taking so many. He's obviously gonna have a lower yards per carry, but currently averaging 61 yards a game, 3 touchdowns, which is all the TDs are trending upward currently. So the offense is still inconsistent, but looks better. Has good enough playmakers to get him down to the red zone. He's going to be the red zone look. I think it's the truth. I think he's going to do nothing but get better. Granted, he stays healthy. It worries me that they so hard, similar to the way Saquon Barkley got injured, because they take a great player and they run him into the ground. So, barring all injury, I think he remains the truth. I think it's real.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys, and like for me, it all just depends if Ben Roethlisberger's the quarterback or not. Because as long as he's quarterback, like he's literally first read not there, Najee. First read not there, Najee. You know what I mean? To where
Yep.
the first like probably like 3-4 weeks they couldn't run the ball worth a lick, but he was getting pretty much like 10 targets a game. Like to where, and then if you add in what he did last week, the 120 yards rushing plus some of those targets, like it's only going to make him more dangerous, especially to get those touchdowns. So yeah, no, I totally agree that I think it's reality. Like, and of course, all these are, you know, everybody's healthy, stays
Yeah.
healthy the whole year. No,
Yeah.
no injuries or nothing like that. So, but yeah, no, not much more to add than what you guys said. I think that's a
Can't
reality.
can't argue
He's
with
a
volume.
volume monster.
Yeah, you can't argue
Yeah,
with volume. So
exactly. All right, so number 7, Cordero Patterson. I'll go first on this one. It's tough because it's hard to argue. it's one of those. I think he only played like in the game 2 weeks ago. This past week, he played a lot more, but that was because of Ridley being injured, or not injured, but out. But the week before that, the 3 touchdown game, he only played 39% of the snaps, which isn't a lot. But the thing is when he's in there, they get him the ball. So he gets the volume like if he's playing 70% of the snap, but he's only playing 39% of the snap. But I think with the way he's producing and them getting him the ball, I think that's going to go up a little more, where it's probably going to be more of a 50-50 split. It just, like I said, I mean, Matt Ryan's kind of almost like a Ben Roethlisberger. He just, for some reason, people are like, oh, Cordero Patterson's in the backfield. Let's just leave him be. And Matt Ryan's like, check down. So I think it's reality. I think he's going to keep balling out. He's still going to have the opportunities, and their defense sucks, so they're going to be in passing scripts a lot of times. So I think for Cordero Patterson, it's a reality. How about you, Craig?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I'm just gonna go with my heart. My heart tells me that he's the truth.
Can't do that. Can't
yeah,
do that.
right. You're not allowed to do that. Sorry. He reminds me a lot of the way they're playing him and utilizing him. Reminds me a lot of David Johnson in Arizona. So
yeah, no, that's when they had Chris Johnson.
Yep. And that was 2 years of domination for David Johnson. So
yeah, yep.
That's a
great one.
With the way he's producing, it's really hard for me to say that he's gonna have. I think with the way he's getting a good amount of rushing attempts and a really good amount of passing attempts combined, he's up there between 14 and 18 attempts total between the two of them. He catches the ball, granted, because they're all dump offs, but he's a really high catch rate, 83% catch rate. What sucks and what's hard to judge is the injuries to not Arizona. I'm sorry, Atlanta. Thank you. Because Ridley hasn't played the whole game, and Gage has been out here and there too, right? So they just didn't play the last game in Europe. But he had a mediocre game in Europe, so he has produced with those people in there. So Matt Ryan he's had a really bad year. Once again, you could attribute that to injury on receivers, but I think he has one of the lowest yards per pass attempts, which is 6.5. So he's not really putting it down the field. He's not either trusting his receivers or trusting to throw himself to throw that deep ball.
Well, I have seen that a lot of that too could be that teams are playing a lot more like two deep safety. So
forcing him to go
to where
short.
they're taking away, to where they're taking away the deep ball and forcing him to just check down, basically.
Which is why I give that a plus to Patterson. So I think it's going
to exactly. Yep.
I think what he's doing is the. I know a lot of people are looking at it like it's an illusion, but he has, they have an abysmal defense. They're going to get scored on a ton. He's going to be forced to and Patterson's going to be, once again, slightly based on sheer volume. He's going to be forced to get the ball. And like I said, it reminds me of David Johnson in Arizona. He's got a lot of rushing attempts and a lot of pass attempts currently going for him. Yeah. I think it's.
All right, B-Man, what's your take?
This one's a tough one for me because I think last week I shat on him pretty hard. And I kind of want to stick with that because,
so you're going illusion.
Yeah, I think he's an illusion. I think he's going to have some hot weeks for sure. But I think teams will start to shut him down. But we'll see. I could be totally wrong on this one, but fuck it. I think he's a bust. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, one argument I would make against that too would just be they don't have much else in that offense outside of him, Ridley, and Pitts. Because he's. I don't get why they don't just play him over Mike Davis. Mike Davis is a bum. So I don't get why they don't switch it and
they don't really have anyone else to go to.
Right, but for weapons, so that's the only reason I say it's kind of that volume argument, But it wouldn't surprise me either. It's happened in the past where Cordero has a few games like this, and then the coaches, for some reason, are like, you're a bum. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of
That's
here.
what
But,
that's what I'm banking on right there.
well, you're wrong. But anyways,
Yeah.
so all right, the next person, George Kittle. Now I know he's on IR right now, so that happened after
We chose to talk
I
about him.
sent this. Yeah, so do you guys want to talk about it, or you want to just
No.
pass it over?
No, move on.
No? Okay, fair enough. So, all right,
Fuck that
Leonard
guy.
Fournette is the next one.
Oh, this
Um,
one's interesting.
yeah.
Give me the facts, Greg. Hit me with the facts first.
Yes,
Oh,
you go first,
I
Craig.
told you. I'll tell you this. I stopped after Cordell Patterson. Like I said, I'm a busy boy. I don't have enough
Yeah.
time. But I will say this about Leonard Fournette. He is 100% getting the volume at the goal line. I think was it last game or something like that? He had like 26 attempts in the red zone or something like that. He's 100%
Well,
for the rest of the year.
he's not going to have 26 attempts in the red zone. That's a
not.
lot of attempts in
Is
the
it
red
over
zone.
the year then? I feel like he
It's
had.
probably over the year, maybe not. But
I'll look it
still,
up. I'll look up the stat. I heard it
that's
earlier.
5 attempts in the red zone a game. That's a lot, dude.
I think he's had it. I mean, Tom Brady scored a massive amount of touchdowns, and I think that's why he's so promising. Is because he's getting.
Yeah, but they don't have that many rushing touchdowns, and I doubt they would. I don't. Either way, don't matter.
No, you're right. That's why he hasn't been super. Like that's the thing. I think he's.
So
I
you're
think
saying the
he has nothing but
potential.
potential. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he has
Okay.
nothing. Like he has the opportunities. He's not converting on them, but he's getting the looks and he's getting the option to go and score. So if they can make it so he can start scoring, or if he does just start scoring, I think it's a reality. I think it's there. I think he hasn't. They've thrown a bunch of touchdowns, but I think the reality is, they like to go to him when it goes to the red zone, and I think he's gonna end positive. Positive. So
Yeah. All right. How about you, B-Man?
Yeah, I'm with Craig on this one. I think it's a reality, and I like Leonard Fournette. I think he is just a strong runner, and he's improved in the pass game as well. Because before at Jacksonville, all he did was run the ball. So
Yeah.
he's now shown that he's capable of doing both. And if he's the red zone guy that just in the volume there, I mean, come on, he's gonna fall in the
it's
end
bound
zone.
to convert, right?
Yeah, he's bound to fall in there.
Yeah, and I'm with you guys. I think this is a reality. I mean, he's clearly taken over the lead back role there. Like Ronald Jones just is barely seeing the field at this point, and he still has a fumbling problem and stuff. So he's clearly taken over, and in that offense, when it's that potent, like the touchdowns are going to come, But even if it doesn't, like you guys said, he's improved a lot and getting a lot of which is another like surprising thing because they have Giovanni Bernard, who's a pass catching back, but yet they still to keep that like where you can't tell if they're passing or running based on who's
Right.
in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's still getting that volume of those 4 or 5 targets a game.
He is.
And then, he's getting all those rushing attempts. And like I said, with that offensive line and that offense in general, like the offenses or the opportunities are going to be there, and you just can't pass that up.
Yeah, it looks
So
like
I agree. I think this is a reality, and barring injury, I think Mac got lucky, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but to have the right running back, in that offense.
Yep.
Yeah, they definitely like Fournette, and yeah, I looked at he's got 17 opportunities in the red zone, 12 carries. So,
Okay.
and in week 4 and 5, week 4 was 3, week 5 was 4. So it looks like almost every touchdown they're getting up there, they're saying, "Hey, you get a chance at this." So
Yeah, no, and
that's
that's
really
fair, and
good.
that's even with that down number that you just said. That's still a
That's
lot.
still really
Like
good. Yeah,
yeah, that shocks me. I didn't know that.
Jonathan
So
Taylor has 27. Dear Lord.
which, speaking of Jonathan Taylor, that's our next guy. Um,
Oh,
so
I forgot. Sorry.
I put a minus next to his name because at the time, the first like 4 weeks, he had not done really well.
Right.
But then the last 2 weeks, I guess the first 3 weeks, but the last 2 weeks he's done better.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a tough one because it depends on that offense. The first 3 weeks, the offense was trash. He did trash. And like even this past week, if he had that 70-yard touchdown catch, but that was like almost half of his yardage. So if you take away that, he only had 70 yards the rest of the game total. You know what I mean? Or something like that. It
Mhm.
might have been a little more than that, but I'm just saying to where it's like, I just don't know that offense really isn't, at least the first 5 weeks, hasn't been big play heavy. You know what I mean? So to rely on that with Jonathan Taylor right now with that offense, the offensive line, especially without Quentin Nelson and stuff, has not been as good. So it's really tough for me to say whether it's an illusion or reality of him doing bad. I guess I'll say illusion just based off of volume because especially if they're going to give him 4 or 5 targets a game, and then like Craig just said that stat about the red zone carries. If you're going to get, whether your offense sucks or not, if you're going to get a carry or two every time you're in the red zone,
Mhm.
I mean, you're bound to fall into the end zone a few times, you know?
Yep.
So I'm going to say illusion that he's not as bad as he was the first 3 weeks and that these last couple weeks are more around what he'll be. Maybe not like this past week of 30 points or whatever, but I think he'll be more of a consistent 12 to 15 player instead of single digit player, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
I've been a fan of him since he came out of college and got drafted. Hated him when he was destroying Michigan, but
right.
right. But I think he is
Roll
a true
Tide.
talent, and I think
Fuck you, Craig.
he'll start to play up to where he was drafted. Right. He's
Yeah.
the yeah. So I think he's gonna be. Right now, this is just an illusion for the negative.
Is it a
What
negative?
about you, Craig?
I don't. Yeah, I think the reality is he's a really good, going to be a really good fantasy running back.
Yeah.
Top 5, top 10.
So,
Um,
so you're
just
saying illusion as well?
is it what did
Because
you post?
I have him as a negative because I said the first
Oh,
three
you put
weeks he was
overall negative. Yeah, that would be an illusion.
yeah
I think he's yeah, I think he's trending in the right direction. He's getting literally 68% of the looks when they go into the fucking red zone. So
right yeah
um
that's an insane number. So that's
that's
just a
crazy just based on volume.
volume play. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things. I don't know if I said it earlier with the Colts. They kind of, they're mediocre defense, going to get scored on, going to have games where they have to do this. It was very promising to see what they did this week. So I think he's well
Yeah,
worth
and
really drafted him RB1 material. Gonna be probably has done worse than what he will do.
right, and I think too, like Carson Wentz is looking healthier, like from
Mhm.
that foot injury,
Yeah,
so that helps, and
nice little
you
stash.
get T.Y. Hilton back to help a little bit, take some pressure off. People can't stack the boxes as much.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Yep.
like you guys said, I mean, we're all in agreement. We think he's going to be better than what he was those first couple weeks. So, I did want to bring up real quick. So, the first one involves you, Craig, and then the second one involves kind of both of you a little bit. So, the first one is the
I pulled
Seattle
out.
situation.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh,
Go
that's
ahead. The Seattle
hilarious.
situation. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it off air, quote unquote, a little bit, but like, so the whole Russell Wilson thing,
Yeah.
um, like, so I guess like with you with Tyler Lockett, how do you see that? Like, are you worried about him? I guess is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. No, for sure. From what I got to, so I actually watched that game. And from what I gathered, you can only gather so much from one game in Geno Smith. So obviously, I think the
right,
the the obvious is you're downgrading at quarterback, so automatically you usually assume your receivers will do worse. Now, when it comes to fantasy, it's one of two things of, is he going to just have to force feed the ball to one of these receivers to kind of continue moving the ball, or is he, what he's going to do? And what it looked like he was going to do currently was feed Metcalf. So that wasn't too happy. I think I lose some value with Lockett because he's obviously a lot of his plays, everyone knows, comes from the big pass, the big playmaking ability. So he still gets some love in the slot. He's still going to get probably, I'm hoping, anywhere from 5 to 10 targets a game, depending on the scripts. But you're downgrading at quarterback, so it hurts. He's not. I don't think Geno Smith's going to be thrown. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think Geno Smith. There was a couple. Once again, Lockett has been having some drop balls where he should be having some really big games. And that's
Well, he also had a touchdown call back on a penalty.
Yeah. So
in
like
that last game as well too.
Obviously, I think he's doing better. Geno Smith did look all right, but it obviously worries me. We're gonna have to see more, but at this point, it's gonna be hard to. I'm gonna have to start him over T Higgins, but I might be starting T Higgins over him currently just because we'll have to see how Geno Smith. So
yeah, it might have to be more of a. He might become more of a matchup based play.
But hey, Geno Smith's a vet. If he's willing to chuck that ball down the field and get, because fucking Tyler Lockett will create space. So
yeah,
if Geno Smith can get him on a couple good routes, and if Tyler Lockett can catch the fucking ball and hold on to it, piece of shit, then he's going to be looking a lot better. So,
well, and that's where I think too, like the play calling comes. The play, the offensive coordinator has to, because a lot of Tyler Lockett too, like he would thrive. Him and Metcalf would thrive when Russell Wilson would, run out of the pocket and just scramble drill it. Backyard football it.
Let him create space. Get open.
Yeah, he hit 60 yards and there's Lockett in the end zone. There's Metcalf in the end zone. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get that with Geno. So
correct.
You're going to have to. I think maybe Lockett and maybe Metcalf. There'll be more of less boom and bust, but more of just a mediocre receiver, where they're going to get you 6 for 70 or something like that. Because I don't see them trying to heave the ball up and down the field if they don't have to. Like, they're already hate doing that, even with Russell Wilson. So I doubt they're going to do that with Geno Smith unless they have to. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I just thought it was interesting. And
what do you think,
Brennan? Oh, yeah, Brennan.
What?
What do you think about that situation?
This shitty Seattle one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't fucking have an opinion on it.
Okay.
That's funny though, because their defense is all right. They're not great though, so like it's another situation where they might be forced
to, yeah,
throwing the ball. So I mean, whenever you downgrade at quarterback, it's a downgrade, but
right.
obviously not Russell Wilson, which sucks. But there's still potential for him to be decent.
Yeah, I think you're in trouble with Lockett for sure.
He's had the targets. He's had a lot of drop passes. I've been watching him. So like,
all right.
This was with Russell Wilson. So like he was getting the looks. He just wasn't converting. But I think I lose a lot of value on Lockett currently. He's nowhere near what he would be with Russell Wilson.
Yeah. And then the other one was the Dallas situation. So I just found it interesting. Well, just because I found it with like mainly the receivers. So obviously you had that first week in Tampa Bay where they literally passed it like 60 times, But ever since then, they've only been passing it like 30 times a game, and they've been, rushing it for over 200. I think every game since week 1, they've rushed for 200 yards, I think, or over like 170. So they're clearly pounding the ball more and throwing it less. So Brent's felt it with CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I know him, Lamb, and Cooper both had touchdowns last week, but it's just kind of, for me, it's almost that Emmanuel Sanders argument. Like, you're not getting that volume.
No,
are you worried? Are you worried at all?
I am. I agree with what you're saying, and yes, yeah, no, I am worried because
Because I think Shane should be
Zeke
worried
has
too.
clearly shown that he's still the man, and Dallas obviously invested in him, so might as
Right.
well use
Well,
him.
and you got Pollard to help run
Yeah,
it
fuck that guy.
whenever Zeke gets tackled. But then also too, you have Dalton. So I looked it up. I think it was Dalton Schultz is the third most targeted person on the team. He's only 7 behind Lamb, who's number 1, and like 4 behind uh, Cooper. But
Yeah.
he has more catches than Cooper and Lamb.
I think it's a perfect.
So
I think it's a perfect relation to what you said with Buffalo, where Cooper is Diggs. They probably command the target share, and it's feast or famine for everybody else. I would say similar to Tampa Bay, except Tom Brady is better than everybody. So
yeah, well, and too, like their defense has been playing a lot better than they did last year.
yeah, they're
Dallas
like top
is.
10 right now, aren't they? They're like top
Yeah,
10,
so
top
they're
15.
not
Yeah, they're doing all right.
getting in those situations where they were last year, where they have to
Right.
outscore an opponent, 50 points to 40 or something like
100%,
that.
man, 100%.
So yeah, I was just curious if
So what
just
he's
like I
saying
said,
is, I'll
especially.
give you Lockett, and you give me CeeDee Lamb.
No, no.
We'll do a little swap. It is swap, buddy.
Yeah, at least CeeDee Lamb has his quarterback, and
You
that's the
shut
thing
up.
too. Is like
You
Dak's been passing for like 200 yards, but
Dak's a fucking man, dude.
he's still
Yeah,
getting
I'll
like
be interested to see
four
how the game
touchdowns.
scripts continue. Is
Yeah.
it all just gonna
Well,
be run, or will we see
well, I mean,
some?
because you gotta think they have their division sucks pretty much, so those games you wouldn't imagine they'd be in too many pass happy scripts
I
against
mean,
Washington,
We'll see.
against fucking the Giants, who they just ran the ball on for almost 200 yards, against Philly, who they destroyed.
I will say Zeke has a very good playoff schedule. So the run game looks
Right.
good. Yeah,
Well,
the
yeah,
passing
and
is mismatched.
this has clearly favored Zeke, so it like affects you
Yeah.
in a little bit, but it affects Craig in a positive way,
Yeah.
where Zeke's just getting fed this ball.
I'm always so happy when my running back isn't it just scare everybody? Like I'm so happy when my running backs they're like, yeah, feed him the ball. I'm like, just don't get hurt. Just don't get hurt. And they're both fucking questionable. Like, oh, he pulls a hammy. I'm like, get him out of there. Like, fucking massage his
Well,
hammy. He's got me 20 points already. I don't need this.
right. It's funny because you're like feed him the ball, and then like he does get hurt, and you're like, why'd you feed him the ball so much?
Yeah, right. Stop feeding him the ball, you fucking
You're
idiot.
running him into the ground.
Yeah. Give the ball,
So
boy.
no,
You fucking
but I just wanted to bring those two up since we were already talking about the just if you guys were
It's
worried
shaping up
about
to
those
be a very
situations.
interesting fantasy year. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
A
I
lot of
wanted to bring
injuries.
it too
A lot of injuries.
because this week is the first week of bye weeks, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, we've already had so many injuries
So
to
many.
people, and we haven't even reached the first bye weeks yet until just this week. I'm like, and now we have to deal with bye weeks too.
Juicy waiver
Like,
wires this week,
I
boys.
was about to
Don't
say
miss
that's
out. Juicy waiver
yeah,
wire this week.
Brian.
One of the best. This is probably first or second best
Oh,
we could have all
yeah.
year. Get in there, Brent. Just look at the high numbers and toss some trades on them. Just gimme.
Gimme.
See what you get.
Yeah, I'll accept any trade, Brian. Go ahead, just send it.
I'll send you one.
Don't matter. So, all right, boys, we want to get into these
Yeah.
picks.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right,
do
hold
it.
up. Let me pull it up real quick.
Brent, while he's pulling it up, I'm so sorry, man. You score points every week and you're just getting shit on. I literally didn't think I didn't think Josh or Shane was going to win. It blows my mind what happened Monday. It blows my mind.
Well, it so happens that the 2 weeks before this, I versed high points both weeks.
Yeah, you're getting the short end of the stick, but at least you're still putting up points, so you got to be happy.
Well, you face second high points this week, Brian, too, so that's not much better.
Right, not much better. So you know what I mean?
And you would have been high points, like I said earlier, or you would have probably beat me if both your quarterback and Saquon didn't get injured. Like,
can we just all
especially
agree?
with the way that game script was. Sorry, Craig, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just saying, can we just all agree Mark Andrews will never score 2 points again in his life?
Never, yeah.
Ever again?
Never.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So, all right, I got these picks pulled up.
All right.
So, all right, recap of last week. Bren, you went 3-2,
Yes.
which takes your record up to 11-14.
Let's
Um,
go.
Go, Bren.
I went 3-2 as well. So
Hey,
my
let's
record
go.
11-14. Craig, you went 2-3.
Yeah.
So you are 12-13.
Mm.
And Ike went 2-3, so he's 13-12 right now.
Oof.
So all right, we're saving Craig and Funk for last. So let's start. We'll just get this over with. Bren versus Justin. Um, Bren, I'm assuming you're going yourself.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Um, I'm going Justin just because his team's not decimated by injury right now, like yours is. Um, I mean, right now you either have to choose a concussed Daniel Jones or Tannehill, unfortunately. So that's your quarterback situation, and then yeah. So sorry, Bren, but I'm going Justin.
Quarterback situation is easily fixable.
That's true. That's very
Right. I
true.
agree.
And I will say real quick. So when I made my plant my flag about the people in the bottom three not being in the bottom three at the end of the year, I didn't think we'd be facing each other week after week. So, like, it sucks because like you and Justin, whoever loses is still the worst record in the league, and it just makes it that
Right.
much harder to get out. So it's not looking good for my plant my flag. Although
Anything is possible.
Nate,
Just ask Funk.
yeah, Nate's taking hard, so he's trying to make me right. But yeah, Ike is choosing Justin as well. And who are you going, Craig?
I'm going Bren. I think he fixes his quarterback
Nice.
situation easily. I think there's a couple good options on the waiver wire. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs at Tennessee. I think it could mellow out to be a mediocre game where they get up. But we'll see. I don't like I don't like Damian Williams on Chicago. Like I said, that offense is not that great. Dalvin Cook, if he plays, he's always a possibility. DJ Moore's been producing, but it's Minnesota, so we'll see. AJ Brown at Buffalo, I guess that does have potential, but I know Christian Kirk at Cleveland. I bet you Christian Kirk scored a lot. I like how Dawson Knox has been playing. I like Austin Eckler and Kareem Hunt better basically than both his backs. I think they got better matchups. When I was watching Carolina defense play, they were murdering people. So I don't think Dalvin Cook's gonna have the same game at Carolina. So yeah, I think Brent fixes his quarterback situation and pulls himself out a close win this week.
Whoop whoop.
Nice. All I know is if Justin loses this week, he will become the new Shane for me, and I will always pick against him. So
I will say Chase Claypool or Cortland Sutton in his flex could be it could be interesting. So we'll see.
yeah, I mean, honestly, if it was me, I would probably play both of them over AJ Brown. But that's just
Right.
I would make AJ Brown kind of earn himself into your lineup.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Got to start your studs. That's rule number 1.
Rule number 1.
yeah, he hasn't been a stud at all this year though. Like
He hasn't
at
played
all.
that much.
He's played all but one game.
All but one game.
Who? AJ
Yeah.
Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Well, I guess technically you could say two because he did leave the one game like in the first
Okay,
quarter.
there we
two and a,
go.
two and a
Well,
half.
still,
Only
he's played
been 5.
So
Yeah,
he's
So that
played
means
three
he's
of
only
them.
played 3. Tennessee hasn't played very well.
AJ Brown
Yeah, which
could
is
still be real
partly due
big.
to him.
You're correct.
AJ Brown could finish the year off right.
He could, but like I said, I mean, right now he's not a stud.
Nah,
It's
he's not.
not like he's been the number one receiver. Had one bad week. I mean,
Yeah, if anything, you're hurting him until he starts proving himself because they're not
Right.
throwing the ball.
Hate you released this early, Josh. I'm trying to get him to play AJ Brown.
Play AJ Brown.
Oh,
No
okay, yeah,
stops
play
here.
AJ Brown.
Throw
Number
Kyle
one.
Pitts in there. I heard Atlanta's coming off their bye to play secretly in the dead
Right,
of
yeah,
night.
they switched their bye for sure.
But
Yeah.
they're playing Monday night.
Monday night.
Yeah, so you gotta
it's
wait.
it's the second doubleheader or
Yeah.
second game of the doubleheader for Monday night.
No, it's only
One
the
time,
cool kids know about it.
right? Yeah, it's on the dark webs for sure.
Yeah, I'll shoot you.
All right, let's go to myself versus Shane. So I'm going myself. Oh wait, I have nobody in my starting lineup, so statistics would say Shane. So I'm going Shane.
There you go.
Just
Smart.
just kidding.
Smart pick.
Fuck you, Shane. Just
Oh,
kidding. Fuck you, Shane. I'm going myself. Ike went me as well. So, Ren, who you taking?
damn, dude. I'm going Shane. You
Yeah, of
think
course
you
you are,
can
fucker.
you think you could take your little hot waiver wire trash ass, rub it all over the place like you own it?
That's
I'm
right.
telling you, you don't.
I'm leaving skid marks everywhere with that hot wire trash ass. So get out of here.
Yeah, you are. It's fucking annoying.
Who you going, Craig?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what you do this week with your waivers. I gotta give you gotta give props. Gotta give you props. Tony, that could be big the way they're using him. Granted, I think he's coming back unless he broke his hand. Did he break his hand when he punched that guy? Either way,
No, he didn't.
I want to
No.
make sure I give you props because as much shit as I give you, the whole reason I wanted unlimited waivers is so you could literally go find those people and play them and have no repercussion if they don't pan out. So I'm very happy that you're utilizing it. I think that's awesome that Emmanuel Sanders produced. I think it's awesome that Kadarius Toney produced. You had the right idea with the Chicago wide receiver with Mooney, but it didn't pan out. So I mean, I'm all about. I would give you coach of the week. Granted, I didn't think you were going to win. You won pretty miraculously with all that dick sucking.
Shane.
Yeah, with all that dick
Here comes a
sucking.
Shane pick.
That was a lot of his.
I'm gonna give it to
cacking
you. I have
out.
faith in your ability to go on waivers with how juicy waivers are. General idea of what you might be doing, and I'm gonna
Nice.
give it to you, even
That's
with.
it. I'm getting every one of Josh's waiver wire picks. Hold on.
I mean, DeAndre, this also
I just
means
have to
Swift.
hone in on these. This is wrong.
You have a lot of good matchups, and even though you don't have a lineup, I see you have a lot of matchups with what you have there, and I think you can fill your running back situation is fine with Kamara being out. I think you pull it out, bud. I have faith in your waiver wire abilities. And I don't think Kelsey's going to
Thank
play. I
you.
think Kelsey get hit in the head. I mean, we'll see if he practices this week. This is Tuesday, so I mean, if he practices, he's probably fine and playing. But I mean, if Kelsey doesn't play, it's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a rough hit to Kelsey. Yeah, I didn't even think about that looking to see if he was playing or not. I just assumed he was, but he got hit.
He got
Just
hit pretty
right
hard. Yeah,
shoulder in the head and snapped back. It was pretty nasty.
I would think it'd be smart if he plays Jalen Hurts at Tampa Bay. But
Yeah, so I
I
was
bet
gonna
you he
ask
plays
you guys
Stafford
that.
at the Giants. I bet you he plays the Stafford.
How many more weeks do you think Shane leaves a top 5 quarterback in fantasy on his bench?
One more week. I bet you he plays Stafford at the Giants, and then
One more for
he gets
sure.
burned by Stafford again.
Right.
Ain't no way Stafford does him wrong again.
Dude, Stafford at the Giants, he'll give him 19 points. I'll give him 19 points.
Right here, he'll get 19, and then
Jalen
Hurts will
Hurts will
get
be
like
fighting
30.
Jalen Hurts at Tampa Bay. Tom Brady's gonna score, bro. You better be playing Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But even so, I like I can't I can't do it. I gotta give it to you, Josh.
Craig, just listen to your heart. Don't use the stats.
I mean, you're
Just
due,
listen
bro.
to your
You're
heart.
due. You really do.
I'm so due. I'm so due. All right, let's go Dan versus Nate. I'm going Dan. Ike went Nate. Craig, who you going?
I have to pull it up. I'm sorry. 1 second.
Yeah, okay.
Dan and Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Prescott of New England. So, I mean, Belichick is going to shut down. New England shuts down your best player. Dak Prescott's the best player on the Dallas Cowboys. So I bet you they do what they did to Tom Brady and they shut him down. He has a medium game. Aaron Jones at Chicago, I like. Antonio Gibson at Kansas City. Chase Cleveland, Arizona. I'm gonna give it to. I gotta see. He's got 2 holes here. What is he putting in here? He doesn't have a quarterback. There's some options. Could play Sam Darnold. I'm gonna give it to Nate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be actually hard. This might be stupid. I should play the number. Like Marquise Brown has been going off. Terry McLaurin at Kansas City could have a huge game. There's another guy, I can't remember his name, who's emerging in Washington, but Tyreek Hill, I don't think is going to play. I think Tyreek Hill got banged up, didn't he? I gotta
Yeah,
see
I heard
Tyreek
he's
Hill.
fine though.
Is he
I heard
fine?
he's gonna be fine. Yeah.
Oh, he's not expected to miss time after. So he got a knee injury though. I'm play that against him with either limited snaps or he's going to hurt
That's fair.
himself.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they get injured, which is why I'm saying it sucks my running backs. But
Yeah. I mean, the one argument for that is it's Washington's defense, who's like the only defense that's worse than Kansas City's. And
right.
Tyreek Hill could take 2 catches for 170 yards and 2
Right.
touchdowns.
But I bet you Chase Edmonds gets stuffed at Cleveland.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb in Arizona's. They got a really good defense. I mean, I think Nate pulls it out this week. He just got to fill that quarterback slot. And then probably.
Wow, so you're putting trust in his receivers, huh?
Yeah, no,
And,
definitely.
And Hawkinson improving, huh?
I think Brandon Cooks at Indianapolis will be a shootout. I think Hawkinson coming back going to be healthy. He's going to get a majority of the target share, probably all the red zone looks. There's a couple other options. There's 1 or 2 other options there, but they're really injured. So I think Hawkinson will get outdo Gesicki. Like I said, Terry McLaurin and Brandon Cooks. I mean, if Brandon Cooks goes off, it's going to probably wash. I like a healthy Robert Woods at the Giants over. I don't know, at Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's been way too inconsistent this year. Patrick Mahomes spreads the ball out.
That's fair. He has been really inconsistent this year. Yeah.
And then, Aaron Jones. I think honestly, with Dak Prescott most likely getting shut down and some of the harder matchups for his running backs, Dan doesn't pull it out this week. But it really depends on who Nate puts there in quarterback. As far as his flex, even, I mean, it might be blasphemy to say what I'm saying without him actually having a real flex, because I don't see a flex on his bench. So we'll see what he does in the waiver wire pickup. Marquise Brown could be the difference maker if they play him right. So
fair enough.
I think Dan's matchups are too hard.
B-Man, who you going?
I'm gonna go with Dan.
Okay, so we're split 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
All right, let's go. Barber versus Mac. Both Ike and I went Mac. B-Man, who you gonna go?
Ooh. I am gonna go Mac as well. I think Barber's in a bit of trouble there with that running back situation.
Yeah, his running backs are effed right now.
So I mean, he's seen some pretty amazing production from his wide receivers, which is, I mean, just awesome for him. And then of course, Mark Andrews did wild things last night.
Well, what sucks for Barber too is because he's 3 and 2, and like I have less points than him. But even if I didn't, like, he's 3 and 2, so he's probably not getting those top running backs off the waiver.
Right.
Like,
right. Might not.
So he's gonna either have to just hope and pray and put someone in, or he's gonna have to try and make a trade, I would assume. Yeah, no, that's rough. He has CEH gone, or not gone for the year, but 3 weeks at least. Montgomery, 3 weeks. Freaking, who's his other one? Oh, he has Joe Mixon, who's 50% right now. So yeah, it's rough for him. But honestly, he has the receivers that could make up for it.
Right?
But it's hard though when you're asking one player to cover for 2 or for another one.
It is, yeah. No, it always is.
So, how about you, Craig? Who you going?
I'm picking Barber. Joe Mixon at Detroit, even at 50% capacity, probably will feast. Goddard's out this week. Metcalf, we'll see if he gets fed the way he does, or if it's Pittsburgh. So I'm assuming Seattle's going to have a less than ideal matchup. I like.
Fair, but he might be getting McCaffrey back. He's probably getting McCaffrey back.
Yeah. Is he? Yeah, you're right. He might be back. McCaffrey might be back.
I think they said he's
Still,
trending towards coming back.
we'll see. I mean, I would like to say he's going to come back, and not. It's if McCaffrey plays, anything's possible because he'll come back and be at full force and just destroy. But I still like Kyler Murray. I like it. Kyler Murray at Cleveland is actually a harder matchup. Never mind. Patrick Mahomes at Washington. Oof.
Well, who knows? Forget Justin Herbert just torched them,
Right. Yeah. No, that's true.
Cleveland. So I mean,
I like.
I mean, it's 50-50. That defense has been kind of Jekyll and Hyde. That
Right.
Cleveland defense.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he has an issue at running back, and it's going to be a rough one this week for him to fill that with something. He's going to have to really take a flyer, but yeah, I just think I think there's more upside potential with his receivers, with Joe Mixon, even Mark Andrews. Granted, I don't think he'll be even close to where he was at prior, but yeah, Metcalf, Fournette, and Jacobs are all question marks for me. I don't really like him a lot. Patty Mahomes can always do anything, and he's got the number one receiver, so it'll be a close one. But I think Barber pulls it out.
Okay, very nice. All right, let's go to the matchup of the week, which is Mr. Craig and Mr. Funk. So Craig, I'm assuming you're going yourself, right?
Let me look. I actually haven't looked at our matchup this week.
Dude, I was looking at it earlier, and I think this might be a really fucking good game. Like, kind of like Brennan Mine's game. I think it might be on that level. Ike did pick you, by the way. He picked
Did
you,
Ike?
Craig.
Okay, so I will have. Yeah, I mean, if Ike picked me, I gotta listen to Ike. Ike's always right. So I'll go with myself.
B man, who you going?
Between these two
Yeah.
animals,
Yep.
dude, I'll say this: Funk is another one of those coaches who deserves some praise. This man's been looking
Nope, I will
solid
never
over
praise him.
there.
You know that. I will never praise that fucker.
His
I
team
know,
he scares me. His team genuinely scares me. The way they
right?
perform
Yep.
every week, it's just he's got a monolith.
He somehow keeps managing to find hot tight ends off the waivers.
Piece of
You know
shit
what
is
it is?
a step in front of me every time.
You know what it is he doesn't overreact because he doesn't pay attention all the time, so he doesn't have the
Yeah,
opportunity to overreact. But he's just like, whatever. If I suck, I suck. I'll just keep all my players, and then they happen to pan out.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying he doesn't do any research or he
We can
knows
all
nothing
learn
about
something from
football,
Funk.
but yeah.
we could. Man, that man is zen as fuck. But yeah, I'm leaning, and I'm falling on Funk, dude. Funk's my dude.
You know what scares me most too is he's just look at that full healthy team. Not a single
Yeah.
Yeah.
scratch on him, dude. Like it worries me, genuinely worries me.
Yeah, I mean, I went Funk as well, and it's just for the simple fact of the conversation we were having earlier about your receivers, just like Lockett and even Thielen. I mean, his targets have been down each week, and you know he's been more touchdown reliant the last couple weeks than normal.
You know what's scary too is
So
he's been at like 0 points. He's been at like a lot of my receivers will have nothing, and then like the last 5 minutes of the game, they'll get like 10 points or 6 points,
yeah,
8 points. Like they're not
right,
producing
or
throughout the game at all, which is really worrisome. Very
right, but if that starts and then it's a reverse thing where they're ahead, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So, but yeah, like I said, like just like Lockett we talked about earlier, and then Dalton Schultz has I think a big advantage over Fant. I guess I shouldn't say big because it depends what Fant you're gonna get.
Right.
Because that
Yeah.
game it depends on Las Vegas. If Las Vegas goes back to what they were when they started 3-0 and can put up points, Denver's gonna have to pass. But if Las Vegas sucks like they have the last 2 weeks, then that might be more of a run game control offense for Denver, which
Right.
could
Is Derek Carr even playing?
hurt you.
Derek Carr.
Yeah, he's playing.
Okay.
No, he's playing.
Okay.
Yeah. You have Cardinals defense in, just scary. Against Cleveland. I hope you change that. Is it not a,
I was thinking about changing it with how many points Cleveland has been scoring.
although
But
although
Cleveland
I
is,
cannot
go ahead.
go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying Cleveland. If I know some people from Ohio, and Cleveland is like basically the same thing as a Lion. The Lions just like a step or two up. So they have opportunity to choke and throw away.
Except for they made the playoffs last year and won a
Yeah,
playoff
but
game.
that was
So
on
so really
company money, bro. That wasn't that was there was I'd have to double check.
and
They hardly got there. I think there was a reason they got there.
so I would totally disagree with you that they're anything close to the Lions. They have 1,000 times the talent than the more talent than the
I would
Lions
yeah, no,
do.
I would agree. I'm just saying in the respect of
And you saw
Utah.
what they just did to the Chargers freaking defense.
Oh, they put
Which
up some
was,
points. Yeah, I just mean overall winning the games. Um,
well,
I
that
just
you
know
don't
they
get
have
points for
when you
winning.
got
You don't get points for winning the game
right, but when you
if
got
they put
Baker
up
Mayfield
40.
as your quarterback, I think
Right,
there's
but you just said earlier that they have two of the best running backs in the league. Like they don't need Baker Mayfield
100%,
clearly.
100%.
So
No, for
I mean,
sure.
it's your and like I was gonna say, I have no room to talk. My defenses have got me negative points the last 2 weeks, so I have no room to talk. So don't listen to me at all. I clearly,
Yeah, no, I
I
may not
cle-
play the Cardinals. It worries me with how Cleveland has been scoring for sure. They and I love those running backs. So, I would
hey
be
B man, go pick up all the defenses to block
afraid to
Craig.
start him at them. Yeah, right.
Dude,
Good
I've
luck.
like thought up 3 strategies during this podcast of trying to like fuck somebody because I was like, for Matt, I was like, everybody grab a running back, let's fuck Matt. And then
Right,
someone needed a tight end, and I was like, let's all
right.
grab tight ends.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
hilarious.
think
Man.
Tom Brady might have the edge on Aaron Rodgers. Derrick
Yeah,
Henry's
I
versus
just
the
think
best
his
defense in the league. I don't know how he perform. Henderson scares me at the Giants. I bet you he does really well. That's kind of scary. But
because
yeah, Hopkins and
Keenan
Justin.
Allen's been struggling too for you. Like he hasn't been producing those big numbers like you were hoping.
He hasn't
Like
had a
last
big
week he
game yet.
struggled a lot.
Yeah, he did. He only got 7.1, and then he got 10.5 this week. He has not.
Right, and then
He's been in that area where I would prefer him to be, which is 10 to 15, which is what I want. So he's been definitely underperforming, but he still has that potential
yeah,
to have a great game if people ever realize that Mike Williams can catch the ball and cover him. But we'll see. It might be. We see that
right.
situation
Well,
happen all the time with what you would consider to be the second wide receiver on the depth chart getting all the love because you know.
yeah,
But Keenan Allen is still getting his targets. He catches the ball, so I'm not super worried about Keenan Allen yet, as I am about Tyler Lockett. Even Thielen.
right.
Thielen will get the looks. Lockett definitely worries me. But yeah, and you're right. He has me on receivers. Hopkins and Jefferson are so,
Yeah.
and Jamar
Like
Chase. He's got
I
really
think
good
you're right. I think Tom Brady over Rodgers. I would say your guys' running backs are probably even.
close. Yeah,
Yeah, close.
he has me on receivers. If it's going to be an interesting week if I play Higgins or I even grab one of these flyers that are available this week to throw in
Yeah,
at
that'd
wide
be
my
interesting.
flex.
Yeah,
Because Keenan Allen will
and
probably get moved to my wide receiver too, and I'll throw a Lockett at my flex and fuck with it what I want. So,
right. Well, you'll probably get 22 from your kicker again, like you did against me,
dude,
fucker.
it's always good to find a team that can move the ball but can't really score. And Tennessee is the definition of that.
Man, I wish Buffalo could do that. Seriously, I
Move the
wish that was
ball.
a high-powered offense.
They're overrated, dude. Overrated. Bunch of
I'm
trash.
throwing that in your face every week, Craig.
What? Did I
Every
say that?
week.
They're
Yeah,
they're
you said they're
overrated,
bums.
dude.
You said
They're,
they suck.
they have the
They
best
put up like
defense in the league, but their offense
they
is
put up
just
like 38 points a game so far.
they had
Like
dude. My God.
against good teams.
No, 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 no,
Okay,
no.
not all of them are good,
They weren't
but
all good teams. You watch your mouth, sir.
no, they not
Mister
all of them are
Denver's
good
not a
teams,
good defense.
but not all. The only game they didn't was against Pittsburgh in game one.
Remember
That
when you
was it.
said Denver
Ever
wasn't a
since
good
then,
defense? Remember that?
what's that?
Remember when you said Denver wasn't a good defense and what's his face on the Giants wasn't good, and then you went and picked up the very next week. You picked up Shepard,
Your argument would be more useful if you had a name.
the quarterback of the Giants, Jones. It went down.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Yeah, I said he was balling out and he was going to scorch your fucking New Orleans Saints, and then he put you in -7. Remember that? Pretty sure that happened.
They didn't get -7. They got like -3 or something like that.
Oh, my bad. Either
My
way,
defense this week got -7.
if we're
So
talking
get your
straight, it's no fun if we're talking straight statistics. Obviously, Buffalo scores points. Obviously, they have potential if you're looking at it from a number standpoint. But as Shane will tell you, numbers don't
Mean
always
absolutely
facts. Yeah,
nothing.
fantasy football is a game of gut feeling, and you can. It's why it's such a popular gambling. It's just so popular to gamble on it because there's no guaranteed answer. You can guess all you want, and
I
I'm telling
love
you right now, the Bills' offense is overrated.
I loved
I mean,
Justin venting this morning.
yeah, that was
That
hilarious.
was great. And it just goes to show, kind of like what Craig was saying. Fantasy is definitely fickle.
There's no
No,
right
I get
answer.
it. And
You can play your best odds, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Bills, especially Josh Allen and Diggs, give you good odds to produce, but more often than not, I'd say they fail you.
yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but
Probably not. You're right. It's a heart feeling. You got to have heart. Take it from
yeah.
take it from the 4-1 team over here. Best league
Eh,
record. Let me have it while I have it. I'm going to start failing. I have like 8 players on bye next week, so I will be starting a full waiver team next week.
I bet you the first thing Shane said, you picked yourself. You're without Kamara and Ridley. Blah 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 blah. And then if he wins, he's gonna be like, haha, I won. It's like, cool. You beat me without my 2 best players. Good job, Shane.
Right. I will say I'm very happy with the way I'm very fortunate. To be honest, like the last 2 weeks I've skated by, and I've talked to Justin about it, and it's very, like I said, the only thing that matters is winning and getting to the playoffs because then anything can happen, and that's a direct quote
Right.
from Justin. I'm not going to take credit for that, but
No, and it's very true.
it's
It's
very
very
true.
true.
So and I knew, like I said, when I was drafting, I just kept seeing like, oh, I have like 5 fucking players in week 7. Well, I better have a good winning record when I get to week 7 because I'm probably going to drop one. And
Right.
it's
Yeah.
really playing out for me, so that's nice. But yeah, I
Or
mean,
you just have to be in a good position where, like
yeah,
you said, it's okay for you to drop one.
right. But I have not felt good about my last 2 wins, to be completely honest. It's my receivers have been subpar, and I hope they turn around soon. I think Thielen will turn around, but yeah, really
Yeah.
lock it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. You're probably not winning it because you never do, but you can hope. That's okay.
Yeah,
Oh
keep
my,
dreaming, you big bitch.
oh my
What a
god,
nerd! What a
Nerd.
nerd!
it will be mine.
So, all right, we got anything else, boys? Anything else we want to chit chat about or anything?
That was a pretty solid one. We went pretty good there.
Yeah, I think that's probably about a hour and 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, if you
Nice.
guys are all set, I'm all set.
For sure, bros.
Boom. We did it, boys.
We did it.
All right. Yep, about time. Bren, you gonna be okay?
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean, okay?
You got home from work after a long day, and then you gotta go back in the morning. Do you even know what the
Oh,
morning is, Bren?
Tomorrow my day isn't so bad. Today was rough because I had to go in super early, then I had to work my normal shift, and then I had the podcast.
that's a long day.
Oh, I
So
thought you were saying you had to do that tomorrow.
No.
Okay.
Tomorrow,
Okay.
yeah,
Is
isn't
it your
as
normal
bad.
day?
I still have training tomorrow and my normal job to do, but it's not as long. So
good.
Mm,
Good,
okay.
good. Hopefully you get to sleep in a bit.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.